custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Working through qualifying and about a minute and a half left for any drivers to put down a time, except no drivers are currently on the track here, JP. And we have had a bit of a YouTube issue, so I want to welcome everybody watching over on YouTube, finally joining us now here for round number 5 of 8 in the North American Racing League. Let's recap anything you might have missed. There wasn't a whole lot. We were just talking about, of course, the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, located in the virtual Bowmanville, Ontario. The fastest lap ever here. World record in race conditions, a 104.094, set by Ronaldo Capello in an Audi R10 LMP1 in 2008 when the American Le Mans Series was here. These drivers not going quite as quickly, although I will say a 1:15.8 currently for pole is still pretty darn quick. We can also take a look at our standings here, JP. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. A lot going on in the standings. We do have, I mean, look at it. It's only 7 points to Scott Reiser, who hasn't yet won a race. The pro category only won by 2 drivers. 2 wins for Jackson Rezende, 2 wins for Matthew Dench, even though Matthew is only 35 points behind. But on the amateur class, we do have a completely different story. 4 races, 4 different winners, each and every single one of them with kind of a dominant performance. It's just so amazing to see the amateur championship shaping up.
Yeah, certainly a lot to watch for throughout the entire field here. We have about 27 drivers this evening getting ready to go for 50 minutes of action. While we have a moment as the session gets ready to head on over to our race, let's go ahead and thank our partners here with the North American Racing League. Of course, RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. TAM Liveries offers custom packages for some of the best livery designs in iRacing. Used by pros and amateurs alike, you will definitely look good on the track, and that certainly is half the battle. JS Consulting provides custom website and app development, including iRacing League website building and hosting. Find JS Consulting at johnsedlak.com. As we get ready to go for 50 minutes from the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, let's take a look at our starting grid this evening, JP. On pole, it's going to be none other than Fabio Zamperlini. 2 weeks removed from his Brazil flip, he is on pole in Canada. Starting to his left side will be Matthew Dench, last week's winner at the Nürburgring. Starting third this evening, it's Scott Reister, somebody that's gotten so quick as of late and is a surefire contender for a win very soon. Jackson Resende, 2-time winner this season, starts to his left side, and starting from 5th, it's going to be Scott Kimbrough in the 211. To his left side is going to be Micah Barnett in the Scuderia Chicken House 259. Starting 7th this evening, it's another BMW. It's EJ Nixon in the 202. Starting to his left side in the 8th spot, it's the 291 of Daniel Tenorio, a Lamborghini out of Ohio. And starting on the back end of the top 10, it's Tyler Graff, your amateur pole sitter, along with Spencer Hewins.
In 11th place, starting off row number 6, we do have Blake Scott and Mark Scott, the 167 and the 166 on the outside lane. In row number 7, we do have the drivers of... there we go. We do have Harry Wills on the 295. Alongside him on the outside lane, we do have the 271 of Giuseppe Rivaz in 14th place. Starting off in row number 8, we do have Robert Rodriguez on the 125 and the 178 of Joshua Benjamin, once a race winner. John Sedlak is going to be starting off in 17th place alongside Bruno Alcaraz in 18th place. In row number 10, we do have Federico Tamayo on the 112 and the 128 of William Valdez on the 20th place on the outside lane.
The back 7 cars this evening at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park look like this. The 107 of Mark Braun starting from 21st. Armando Bejaron to his outside in 22nd. Starting 23rd this evening, it's Philip Ranieri in the 108 with Stu Leslie to his left side in the 24th position in the 183. Starting from the 25th spot, it's going to be Sean Patterson in the 154 with Carl Graz to his outside, our rearmost pro competitor there in 26th. Then starting 27th this evening, it's Billy Bowerman in the 102. That's all 27 cars ready to go for action from Motorsport. Cannot wait to get the show on the road. Jackson Resende, I can't wait to see how he does this evening. Of course, our pole sitter, Fabio Zamperlini, certainly looking to hold things down for Canon Esports Brazil. And it seemed like Jackson Resende, certainly by the results, but Fabio Zamperlini has been on our minds almost just as much as Jackson Resende in these opening 4 rounds. And tonight, they just might have to battle each other for a race win. Cannot wait to see how this one develops here in just a little bit. JP, so glad to have you and everybody else watching along with us this evening. 50 minutes are about to get underway from the Great White North. Fabio Zamperlini going to lead us out of turn number 10, White's Corner, before we get this race underway. Barney the Flagman waves that green flag, and we're racing from Motorsport. Down Clayton Corner for the first time, and already almost a little bit of contact there. That was Kimbrough looking to the inside of Reister, and Reister doesn't give it up.
People know how difficult it is to overtake here in Motorsport. They're taking each and every single chance. Looks like we're going to have a battle for the lead. No, look at that. That's aggressive defending from Fabio Zamperlini as they head into turn 5. Looks like the whole grid is still pointing at the right direction. Everybody looks to make it through. Look at that. We do have a bit of a battle between turn 5B, 5A, and 5B. But Fabio Zamperlini still leads with his teammate on close 3rd position.
Down the Mario Andretti straightaway for the first time as a whole cohesive field, and it's Fabio Zamperlini well and out front ahead of Matthew Dench and leading them to turn 8 for the first time. The S's here at Canadian Tire, and they are so difficult to get a big burly GT3 car around. Those Audis, those Lamborghinis, they can get pretty nimble, but they still just want to push off the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. They're very, very difficult to run. Some of the front engine cars, looks like we do have a Porsche on the pit lane already. Unfortunately, it looks like we do have our first victim. But yeah, these cars are very, very tricky. Obviously, the front engine cars do kind of have a bit of an advantage being more stable. But it looks like John Sadlak, unfortunately, did not have the best of starts to his race.
And we'll go back and see if we can't figure out exactly what's gone on for John Sedlak on this opening lap. The race in G203 having some issues. He was pretty well midfield. You can see him battling here with one of the FTR drivers, it looks like, on his outside. That might not be, actually. I think that's the 144. No, that is not one of the FTR drivers. It is Bruno Alcaraz to his left side. Now as they round turn 4 down to turn 5 for the first time. And it looks like not everybody made it through. And oh my goodness, John Sedlak, what a header into the barrier.
That was a big one. I'm pretty sure he was trying to take avoiding action. At that one point, the rears just kind of locked. Looks like we do have another victim. A Mercedes looks like it's on the pit lane, but looks like it did not tow. But on the front end, it's still Fabio Zamperlini over 0.7 of a second ahead of Matthew Dench and over 1.8 seconds ahead of his teammate. He's doing a fantastic, obviously it's only lap 2, but that's a fantastic pace he's showing.
And our first side-by-side comes with a couple of Twisted Motorsports drivers. Harry Wills loses a spot to Daniel Tenorio in that chrome Lamborghini, and now Wills has got to try and regroup from the 10th spot. And that's going to be tough to do. It looks like the Lambos are just a little bit out to lunch today.
Yeah, it looks like it's a bit of a faster car. I'm not sure if they had team orders going on. But I mean, I know these guys are going to keep it clean. Looks like the Mercedes might have a small advantage coming into those first few corners, but looks like the Lamborghini might just be stronger on the final part of the circuit. But I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be battling all race long, because it's something we're kind of used to seeing here on this the North American Racing League. You know, it's just end-to-end battles.
Working through Moss Corner now for the third time of a projected 36 laps. That's actually a lot for just 50 minutes. Scott Kimbrough is in the 5th spot and trying to get after Scott Reister, but they are in a couple of Mercedes. The highest Mercedes is Matthew Dench, but he might be an outlier. I think the Mercedes are a little bit, I guess, outmatched this week. It seems like Fabio's Lamborghini is just a little bit better, and it seems like, of course, Tenorio's Lamborghini was better than Will's Mercedes. I would have thought, being such a fast circuit, that the Mercedes might have had an advantage, but it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting to see. Obviously, we do have, what, 3 Mercedes in the top 5, but, you know, the Mercedes are kind of a stable car, where the Lamborghini is pretty much the opposite. And obviously, we do have the odd BMW of Jackson Resende, who pretty much has been the norm throughout the season. But it's very interesting to see how, I mean, stable, I guess, how comfortable the Lamborghini looks, especially on this road course. No, it goes up and down. It's pretty much a roller coaster. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit twitchier, but, I mean, it just looks planted and it looks fast.
Yeah, the Lambo just, I mean, it looks pretty good so far. And you mentioned, JP, these guys don't get to fiddle with setups. They are locked into fixed setups here in the NARL, which is very different from a lot of GT3 leagues, but this is a little bit of a mix between sprint and endurance, and it just takes one of those other elements out that drivers have to be worried about and leaves drivers to race each other with nothing but the car at hand. And I don't disagree with that logic at all. It's a pretty solid ground of logic, and it works here for the North American Racing League. That's what matters most. It gives us great racing, as we've seen all season long, and it gives us this really big difference between cars. Sometimes on the iRacing.com service and other sims as well, you can adjust these cars to where there's almost no feeling difference between them, even though you're dealing with completely different balances and the cars are built completely differently. Sometimes the setups can feel pretty similar, but it's none of that here with this setup for the league.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously, as you mentioned, it does bring a completely new challenge to these drivers, obviously, because the Lamborghini and the Audis are, in my opinion, known as one of the most difficult cars to run, because, obviously the McLaren kind of fits in that category as well. It's just kind of not an unstable car, but it's tricky to drive. We can all agree, I guess, on that, and obviously we do have the BMW and the Mercedes being, a more safer car to drive, and when you take the setups to make that car more drivable, or I guess kind of loose, as we do have, look at it, Billy Bowerman, it looks like diving down the inside of turn 3. That was kind of an opportunistic move, and he does make it work on that BMW. Amazing move, just as we mentioned on Stu Leslie, unfortunately getting left out to dry as they head into turn 5. But just quickly mentioning my point, it's interesting to see how, even though these cars drive completely the opposite one to another, they're still very close on racing.
That was a very interesting move there, and Stu Leslie, I think, might have a problem. He is losing a lot of time out of Moss Corner. Big problems for the 183. Up front, nothing's changing. I know it looks like it's changing, I promise you. Fabio Zamperlini, I think I heard the O there from you. Fabio Zamperlini is still leading the show up here. There is a 3-car line forming. I think Rosende is starting to back up towards Kimbrough and Reister, and Kimbrough might take a shot, I think, at Reister here soon. He's getting closer and closer to where he might have an opportunity very, very shortly.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of had a mini heart attack seeing that name drop off the timing sheets, but luckily everything's okay. And as you mentioned, this battle looks like it's going to erupt soon. If Reister cannot get past Resende, he might get past...
Oh, Matthew Dench!
Oh, there we go. That's not the one that I was kind of expecting to spin out. Looks like it was all on his own of the Mercedes.
There is not a scratch on that car that was running second place before this issue. Let's take a look back and find out how he goes around. It looks like it's going to be entirely on his own. So this is out of turn 1, and we'll rejoin you. Here we go. Into turn number 2, Clayton Corner, the downhill section. I would have thought all day long, if I had to put money on it, JP, that it would be a Lamborghini or an Audi or a Porsche going around on its own. But look at this. He just gets crossed up into the braking zone. The rear comes around, and he goes around for a quick spin. Oh, my gosh.
I was going to ask you to get him on board, because that was such a near miss. But looking at it, think about it. He spun. He's obviously trying to get back on the racing circuit as soon as possible, but he notices one of the other cars kind of going wide. He quickly engages reverse and gets out of the way to avoid any contact. That was amazing driving. Unfortunately for him, he's going to lose a lot of positions, but at least his car is completely new. Apart from the tires, everything else looks like it's brand scratching new.
And a problem for Hewins. Spencer Hewins around at a turn number 2. That was the amateur race leader. He won last week at the Nürburgring, and he's got problems. He can't. Oh, whoa! What in the world?
Car. That BMW went straight to the pits. Looks like it, and looks like turn 2 is kind of biting some drivers, and just like we bet, the Lamborghini being another car that spun out, we know how tricky this car can be, and obviously going over the crest on turn 2, looks like that might be on entry. I'm not really sure. Looks like the car's fine.
Just goes around.
yeah, mid-corner, the car just drops, and obviously we're going to take a look because we're going to have a massive BMW coming. Federico Tamayo, unfortunately, losing it. Is it mid-cornered as well?
Oh
No,
my
he just
gosh.
goes wide.
That's the most, I guess, reminiscent incident on iRacing that I've ever seen to oil being on a racetrack. You can see how they all lost grip into that corner. I don't know what went on for them, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know if they just missed the corner or what, but when they come down the hill, it looks like they all just hit oil or something, and you can see that the driver that was following Federico just goes wide as well. I've never seen something quite like that, and the way Federico came in, it was almost like, you know, sometimes when iRacers are done with the race, they'll just chuck the car into a wall. That's what it looked like to me, the way he just whizzed by in the background, but no, he just missed the corner.
Exactly, and at that point on grass, you just have absolutely no grip. The car does not slow down whatsoever, and it just kind of created that missile effect, some sort of. And I mean, it was just, it's crazy to see 2 mistakes on the same lap, essentially 3 if you count, Matthew Dench, but, you know, just looks like the mistakes all came out in 1 lap. Such odd, you know, seeing these guys doing mistakes, but I mean, it just proves how tricky these cars can be on fixed setups on such a tricky track like this one.
While all of that was going on, we eclipsed 10 minutes completed, and Fabio Zamperlini has checked out to a 4-second lead. That puts Scott Reister in second place, 4 seconds back. Then Jackson Resende almost a second back of the 242, and Micah Barnett now into the top 5 in the 4th spot. Scott Kimbrough takes over 5th, and EJ Nixon is up to 6th. And I like what I'm seeing so far out of EJ. We have not seen a run quite like this just yet.
Yeah, he seems to be on pace tonight. And I mean, look at how close he is. He might just be lining up a strategy move here after 30 minutes, whenever the pit stop window opens. He might just try to run the long game and save fuel, and we saw how well that worked last week for Matthew Dench. So I'm sure these guys have taken notes of it, because I mean, it just works. Taking less fuel, it's faster, especially if you're stuck in a train like this. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be saving a bit of fuel. And I mean, the top 8 is covered by pro drivers. Only the 9th and 10th place are run by amateur drivers. Not something we're kind of used to seeing. Obviously, Blake Scott is the leader at this moment, and I mean, seems like a good run. He has over 3 seconds over second place, and I mean, that has to feel good.
Yeah, it's Blake Scott leading his father, Mark Scott, and here is Mark Scott in the 10th spot. It looks like they are both in Lamborghinis now, and both sporting beautiful Scott Racing liveries on the 167 and 166, respectively. Blake Scott leading his dad, and they will complete now the 9th lap of competition so far, as we're now projected for up to 40 laps here, and it looks like there's a battle behind. Rob Rodriguez has got a mirror full of Harry Wills. Rob Rodriguez is an amateur driver.
Well, he's doing fantastic, and I mean, he soaked up all that pressure. Looks like Harry Wills will have to back off just a tiny bit to kind of get some breathing room and actually see the racing surface, because on this track, it's kind of difficult to get sometimes your bearings and your marks to turn in, brake, and throttle up.
Whoa!
It looks like, oh, another 2 spins. Looks like those are the Scotts. No, that's 1 Scott at least. No.
That's Blake Scott and Daniel Tenorio in the Twisted Motorsports Lamborghini entry. Daniel Tenorio having problems, and he's up the road. You can see the damage to his chrome Lambo, and my goodness, these drivers are giving us a lot to review today, JP. Let's take a look back and try and diagnose it.
Yeah, these guys, unfortunately, some mistakes are coming up. We're going to have to see what happened to the BMW. Does he just lose it on his own?
Yep.
Yes, the backhand on these cars.
Wow.
Oh, look. Yeah. Oh, it's just old. I mean, it's just so unfortunate to see just one mistake like a copycat of the other, you know, just kind of, not target fixation, obviously, but just so weird to see the same car spinning out on the same corner for the exact same reason.
Yeah, it's getting more and more odd. This track is rather slick, it seems like. It doesn't seem like it would be. The track is sitting at a pretty comfortable 78 degrees. It's 72.9 in the air. The weather doesn't seem to be the issue, but this place is just loose for these. I don't know what it is, but they are all spinning, and it's mostly into Quebec corner or out of Clayton corner, so it's either turn 2 or turn 3, and I mean, that's about as synced up as you can get those two around Quebec corner.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a good photo shot for some drivers later on if they do like to take photos.
Or
but
for
yeah,
our own Trey Shuttlesworth.
Exactly. I see Trey just putting up some great photos like he does in real life. I mean, one guy that hasn't really had any issues so far in his Lamborghini, that's Fabio Zamperlini. He's doing fantastic.
Oh
Oh, and just
no!
as we mentioned, another Lamborghini goes around, looks like on the exit of 5B. So, I
It's
mean,
Rob Rodriguez.
oh, it's just unfortunate for these guys. I mean, these cars are so twitchy, I guess, so kind of difficult to drive, and obviously running fixed setups, and with these mistakes, the tire life is going to be going down, and the end of the race, I mean, who knows what we're going to be seeing with some worn out tires.
And Rodriguez was battling with Harry Wills, if you recall. I don't see any marks on Wills' car, but here's a side-by-side further back in the field. It looks like it's William Valdez passing Sean Patterson. Sean Patterson, somebody we have not talked about at all, and it seems like he might be our lone Audi entry. How about this? Out of Canada, he's showing up to his home track in an Audi R8. Pretty cool to see.
Well, he probably got influenced by the other Audi R8 that set the lap record, but it's interesting to see.
Oh, that was an Audi R10.
Oh, that's an Audi R10. That's
Yeah.
my bad. Unfortunately, I got it wrong, but it's the same brand, so I guess the spirit still counts.
Yeah, close enough.
But yeah, it's interesting to see someone driving the Audi. We know how difficult this car is, especially on a track like this. You know, you brake kind of just on the transition between, you know, the car going up and downhill, and it gets tricky. And he's under a lot of pressure from one of the most stable cars to drive, I guess, the BMW. So it's going to be interesting to see. By the way, running a beautiful Canada livery there. I love it on the Audi.
Yeah, I do like that there for Sean Patterson's machine. This is Philip Ranieri putting him really under pressure at this point. You can see they're following him most of the amateur field ahead. And oh my goodness!
Oh!
What is going on?
That was interesting. One BMW went wide, and the other and the Audi just followed it in the spin. It looks like the other BMW, the Sandwich, essentially did not get past. We're gonna see a replay of this because this was, I guess, comical in a way.
Oh, this was definitely a little bit comical. This was around Quebec Corner, and we'll come over turn 4 momentarily. We are watching on with Bruno Alcaraz, who is the first driver to go around here. Let's watch from this angle as they come down the hill, and we can try and just, I guess, watch along, be spectators here. So Alcaraz comes in, goes wide, he spins. Oh, and then the Porsche goes around, and it looks like the Audi of Patterson just got on the binders a little bit. That Porsche, if I'm not mistaken, was that Billy Bowerman? No, I gotta find him here. That might have been Joshua Benjamin. No, it's not him. It might be. We'll find him. That was William Valdez. That's right. As a Porsche, Valdez in the 128 car.
That was, I mean, everybody looks like it clipped the grass at one point, at the gravel essentially. The dirt, just losing the back end, was pretty much target fixation from each and every single one of them, because it looks like 5 cars had to take avoiding action, and at one point it's just so interesting to see. Obviously unfortunate for the drivers, but interesting to take a look at some mistakes. It looks like we do have a Ferrari with an Italian livery that's fitting. Carl Gross on the pits now. Is that scheduled? Is that...
He's got some damage on the right front. We've taken enough replays at this point, but he's got problems, and here's EJ Nixon with problems as well. This is the most problematic race I've seen for these guys yet. This is incredible.
I mean, and let's not forget, we did have a car flipping on turn 3 at Interlagos. And
okay, but the rest of the race is pretty darn tame. I mean, this is wild.
Yeah, this is getting wild. This is getting interesting, and this is just showing the human side. You know, mistakes do happen. Each and every single one of these drivers have made a mistake so far in this season, and unfortunately, this seems like a mistake-prone racetrack. And unfortunately, for some of these drivers, it's not turning out to be one of their best races of the season.
They are dropping like flies this afternoon. 32 minutes to go, and we're watching a battle now for the 4th position. Micah Barnett with a mirror full of Kimbrough. Oh, I don't know about that move. You've got an entire right side of the racetrack, but hey, they made it work. They don't crash. They keep on going. Micah Barnett defending 4th place currently over Scott Kimbrough.
That was a big defensive move. That was a big block, essentially, just leaving barely enough room for that Mercedes, but as you mentioned, they're still pointing at the right direction. They're still going at it. So I guess it's all fair in game. And I'm pretty sure the one that is tanking, the one that just wants this to keep on going is Matthew Dench. He's kind of closing in. He had quite a bit of, I guess, a comeback race so far, just essentially just using everybody's mistakes to kind of get back on track. But, I mean, he seems to have the pace so far, at least to get close to these guys. And we just kind of have to wait and see if the battle is still alive by that point.
Well, not too far back of Jackson Resende, only about a second or so from the 225 car. So they are very close right here for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th on the way. That would be, again, Matthew Dench. And if you go behind Matthew Dench, you've got to go 10 seconds back to our amateur leader in Mark Scott now, because Blake Scott had that issue a little while ago. Mark Scott is now the amateur leader. The next amateur car in line is... wow, over 12 seconds back. This is a heck of a lead if you're Mark Scott right now.
Yeah, exactly, and that just, it's kind of what we saw in the past few weeks. The lead amateur driver just has a massive gap to second place, and obviously that gap just kind of shrinks down back on. But Mark is doing a fantastic racetrack. Obviously, he was not leading, and kind of has been gifted the lead by his mistake, but it's still, I mean...
yeah, by his son's spin.
Yeah, exactly, but I mean, he's still keeping up the same race car that unfortunately his son spun out on point, and I mean, he just is doing a fantastic job. 12 seconds, as you mentioned, to the next car, and if he keeps this up, that gap might just increase lap after lap.
And that next car in the amateur category is Mike Braun in the 107, who's under fire from EJ Nixon, who had a problem a little bit ago. So we know Nixon is a little bit faster here than Braun and should be able to pass that 107. He's just got to set him up the right way. So this gap is only going to open up for Mark Scott. It's saying 12 seconds. Here we go. And there goes Mike Braun letting EJ Nixon go by. So that's only going to further help Mark Scott in the race lead.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to help out probably. You know, might be a strategy. They're on different classes, so, I mean, Mike Braun might just not want to hold another class up, but also might take some lessons. If the driver ahead of you is faster, you might know where you're losing a bit of time, might just take a bit of a different line on some corner, just improve a tenth each lap, might just come a long way at the end of the race.
What a remarkable race so far. There's a lot to try and keep up with, including Micah Barnett, who has allowed Scott Kimbrough to go on by. It's still early yet in this race, so Micah's got a lot of opportunity still to try and get that spot back as one driver exits the pit lane, and I believe that is Sean Patterson in that Canadian Audi, so he's getting back on the speedway. I believe it's a little bit early for a fuel stop, but it was a pretty short stop along with Blake Scott's, even though Scott's was far too early, and Philip Ranieri, so there is a chance that might have been a scheduled a fuel stop and is going to open up the window. So while these drivers maybe, I guess, ponder that idea, if they want to go ahead and pit here soon, we're going to go PitStopTV side by side. You won't miss a thing.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it is that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome back to live action from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Again, you didn't miss a thing, so really I don't know why I'm welcoming you all back, but welcome back to our voices then with myself, Andrew Cardona IV, and JP Costa joining me on the mic this evening. Not much changing in the front aside from Matthew Dench reeling that 259 in. He's going fishing just like Daniel Falkingham a couple of nights ago, but change up the cars, change up the track entirely, everything's different, and we've got a similar scenario.
Exactly. He seems to be on pace. Obviously, he qualified in 2nd place. Unfortunately, due to a mistake of his own, fell back, but I mean, he's on a mission right now to at least looks like get back on the podium. If he passes these two guys, his main rival Jackson Rezende is only a second and a half ahead of these guys. So I mean, the grid is still very, very close, and the battle is still very much on for 3rd place.
And Resende's got some right front damage. You can see it there in that shot. We'll, I guess, see it again right there. You can see that damage on the nose of that car. Not sure if he's hit a lapped car potentially, or maybe just hit some curbing and damaged it. That is easy to do here at Motorsports. So you can only sit back and wonder, but he is 5 seconds back of our race leader, Fabio Zamperlini, who continues to show the way after starting on pole and just launching away to this race lead. Our amateur leader now has got 15 seconds back to amateur 2nd place. Mark Scott is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's doing a perfect job so far, keeping his car pointing in the right direction and just slowly building that gap up to the next amateur car. I mean, this is just a fantastic drive. It's something we haven't seen for the past few weeks from some of these guys. You know, just dominant drive, and this seems to be it. I don't want to curse him. I do know that I have a tendency to curse everybody, but hopefully if he keeps up this one, it's going to be another one for the books for the amateur drivers and our 5th winner.
And there was it. Well, there is his competition. His main competition currently in the amateur category, getting a fast repair. Mike Braun in the pit lane. The next amateur driver, you've got to go back to position 11 overall, which is actually where Mike Braun just pit from. It's Rob Rodriguez in the 125 car. And of course, if you can't tell by the ticker, all of the 2 whatever numbers are pros. They've got the blue backing, and the 1 whatever numbers are yellow, and well, they're on the yellow backing, and they are the amateur drivers. Rob Rodriguez happens to be one of them, and he's got last week's winner Spencer Hewins on his coattails. A couple of Lambos battling for provisionally either 2nd or 3rd in class.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to at least not work together, but I mean, they're going to have to figure it out if they don't want to lose a lot of time. Look at the run. I mean, it's not going to be close enough on turns number 7 and 8, but I mean, sorry, 8 and 9. I do apologize, but I mean, these guys are going to go at it. Looks like, oh my God. I mean, that just shows some confidence on one corner and then just a lack of confidence on the other. This battle is going to keep on going, but as you mentioned, they're probably battling for 2nd place in class. And if they slow each other down, that's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to overcut. They're not going to be able to overcut. That's it, essentially, point. They have to work together if they want to manage that 2nd place, because 1st place seems a little bit too much out of reach.
Sean Patterson slowing. In fact, there go the drivers that we were just on board with, Spencer Hewins and Rob Rodriguez. In fact, this 154 car of Patterson is battling with them in class. I'm not sure if Patterson was just letting them go by or if he had a problem, but he is in the same class as those 2 drivers, just well off the pace after a bit of a spin right here, in fact, in Moss Corner, where he was avoiding another car. And look at that. Joshua Benjamin will actually spin right in front of Sean Patterson, and that is for position. Somebody who has won in this amateur category and comes in the points leader has just gone around.
That just shows that this track chooses no one to spin out. You can be a race winner and you can spin out. Unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Joshua, I mean, that's just going to be bad luck, and that's not going to be yet another great race. And with the amateur championship being as close as it is, this is definitely going to hurt his chance of probably expanding his point lead, but definitely going to be shrinking it in a more moment's time, as we do have A.J. Nixon on the pit lane.
And amateur leader Mark Scott and amateur 2nd place driver for the moment, Spencer Hewins, coming in. Well, actually, no. And look at Blake Scott's car. That's Blake Scott right behind him. That car is all kinds of torn up. That damage was not there before. Blake Scott has got problems. I'm looking for him. There he is, the 167. Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of front-end damage, and I just wonder, he definitely went head-on into a barrier, essentially. Now, was that a turn 2? We've seen that happening before with a BMW. Now, did that happen again? And was that recent? I mean, just so many questions are being asked, but I mean, that's just unfortunate. And for someone who was once leading this race.
Yeah, at least leading in his category, yeah. Blake Scott, whatever he's done, it was big, and it was a few laps ago. It's been, I mean, he is already 3-4 laps down, so it's been a little bit since his incident, but certainly big problems for him. If I had to guess, it probably happened during our side-by-side. Matthew Dench, you can see in the pit lane, and I believe this should start the cascading of drivers into the pits from the pro category and everybody else in the field, because they are working up to 20 minutes remaining, and that's usually, JP, that is usually our cutoff for these drivers.
Yeah, exactly, and it's interesting because last week we saw Matthew being the last guy to pit. Now this time he's the first guy on the lead pack, let's say, if we take out Fabio Zamperlini and Scott Reister. So probably doing something interesting, just going for the undercut instead of the overcut. That could work out for him. Now it's just a question of, will it? I mean, if he comes out on free air, clean air, he might just be able to put some qualifying laps. If not, well, that's going to be interesting to see where he comes out behind some of these guys, Resende and Kimbrough.
Well, everybody in the top 4 stays out, because here comes Micah Barnett in the 259. He's going to come in and pit, and look where there's cones are as well. That's going to be something these drivers have to work on capitalizing, is your run right to the pit cone, because that is where your pit speed starts. You don't have to be down to pit speed until then, so these drivers certainly will have to try and maximize their entry until those cones. It looks like he's one of the only drivers coming in on this lap. No, here comes Daniel Tenorio from Twisted Motorsports in the 291. He was doing a pretty good job holding down the flag for the Chrome Brigade, and I believe the next car to come in this lap might be all the way back outside of the top 10, because, oh no, here we go, Armando Bejarano in 10th comes in.
It's interesting to see a lot of these guys are taking fast repair. Look at this Mercedes. He's also taking a fast repair, and all of them seem to have damage on the left-hand side. So as you mentioned, Andrew, before, it's kind of easy to get damage off of these curves, and it looks like each and every single one of them has got a little bit of damage. Now the question is, will the leader, Fabio Zamperlini, pit on this lap?
There we go.
Yes, he does. Pitting quite late. Now does he manage to... Oh, looks like Scott Reister as well. Now will Resende as well pit? No, but Kimbrough will. So Resende is going to be leading a few laps, at least one lap, looks like it, and he'll definitely be coming in the next lap.
It's going to be close. I don't think he got him at the line. I think we would be showing a delta from Zamperlini to Resende if Resende had led across the line, but it doesn't show it. So I think, and I'm not entirely certain, but I think Resende was second place across the stripe and will not quite get credit for that lap lead just yet. We'll see if that changes this time through as Zamperlini leaves the pits. Here comes Scott Reister on the 242. Scott Kimbrough to follow. There he goes. And Harry Wills is in along with, looking through the order, Rob Rodriguez actually stays out that lap along with Jackson Resende. And here comes Rob Rodriguez finally to the pit lane.
So it looks like the lone driver to go an extra lap, one of the few drivers at least, Resende. So kind of just showing Resende has a tendency to just, I guess hypermile some of these GT cars, if that's even possible, because he always seems to be one of the latest ones to pit. And it's the same in this one. He was actually running in clean air throughout the racetrack, so not really a lot of fuel saving opportunities. But as he heads into turns 8 and 9, he'll definitely be coming into the pits in this lap. Yes, he does. Almost kind of just faked me out there, but he does brake quite to the just goes to the speed limiter, and he'll definitely be taking a fast repair because that front end is damaged.
We've got problems for, no, actually not problems for Philip Ranieri. He's in the pit lane. That's why his speed shows 0, as Zamperlini will come around and recollect the race lead. Resende does lead to the line, though, so that's important for Jackson Resende to get that lap led. And here comes his teammate, Fabio Zamperlini. Impenetrable so far. That's the run for this 237 car. He cannot be beat just yet. He's got 4 seconds or so. At least he had 4 seconds or so at the pit stop. We'll see what that delta is now, as Resende will finally leave the pit lane right behind Zamperlini, who is already down through Clayton Corner. And the gap back to Resende and Reister. Well, actually, Resende takes over second place. Reister now back into third. And look at that. No fast repair for Resende. He must not know about that damage.
It's interesting because Reister had quite a big gap to Resende, so probably repeating what he did at Interlagos, just underfueling the car, hopefully that he can save just enough till the end. He has nearly 17 minutes to go on his race, but as you mentioned, it could be that he did not know about the damage, or he just chose not to repair it. You know, it costs a few tenths of a second just to repair it, but if it's a strategy, it's a brilliant one because it got him track position.
So big stuff for Jackson Resende. We could have a Kanani Esports Brazil 1-2 this afternoon, and oh, that was certainly a defensive move, a bit of a block there from Resende, but the kind of block that is legal as Scott Reister still looks for a way around. He might have it on the inside of turn 9. No, Resende shuts the door, nose to tail still through White's corner, and it's all Jackson Resende leading this second place effort over Scott Reister. Is so important for him to stay in front of Scott Reister. Even if Reister gets on by, this is backing the 242 up to where there is almost no chance of Scott going up to and catching and passing Fabio Zamperlini. So this is big time stuff from Resende. If you go a little further back, you find Scott Kimbrough currently running in the 4th position. Scott Kimbrough competing under the, I gotta find him here, Team Empire Gold banner in front of Matthew Dench, who is competing independently. No team for the 283.
This is going to be interesting because Resende does not quite have the pace on this racetrack. It just seems not in. Well, helping out his cause by not having a lot of pace, but being able to defend very, very well. It's this. He's essentially creating a train. If this guy starts battling between one another, it might just allow him to dart ahead and just create a small buffer for him. But he's also doing a perfect team game. If he just slows these guys a bit down, he's definitely going to be guaranteeing Fabio's win by just not allowing, just creating way too big of a gap for these guys to be able to catch. So probably doing a fantastic team game here, but could be also doing a fantastic individual play for himself to try and get second place.
Yeah, big stuff happening up front in the top 5, and I like this move from Resende. He probably underfueled a little bit, now backing up and saving, but he's able to keep these cars behind him and open up that delta. Even if it's just for himself, he's keeping them behind him for himself and staying in second place, so big deal there. We will quickly flash back to one driver who's spinning. It's Armando Bejaran around, and I got to find exactly where this is. This is going to be out of Moss Corner. Now he rejoins right behind Mike Braun. Armando Bejaran spinning in Moss Corner on his 27th lap of action. That drops him a couple of positions in the running order, and there are 5 amateur drivers nose to tail. It looks like maybe getting interrupted, but sorry, it is 4 because Armando is a pro, but Mark Scott is the leader of them all from Scott Racing. This is a big deal for Mark Scott to be leading this race. He's just kept his car clean, and he's got 10 seconds still back to Spencer Hewins for second.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely fantastic for himself, but that gap it shrunk quite a bit. It was over 15 seconds at one point. No, 12 seconds. So, it's still 10 seconds. Still a very, very healthy gap. Don't get me wrong. We definitely want a 10-second gap on each and every single race. But, it's still, he has to keep an eye on that gap. He cannot afford to slow down because Spencer Hewins, he might just turn up the pace at one point, just start putting qualifying laps, and the gap can quickly shrink and he'll have the momentum. But just as I mentioned that, the gap goes back to 11 seconds and pretty much a pretty much perfect buffer, isn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, that buffer is only getting better, I think, for Mark Scott as time goes on. You say it's up to 11 seconds, and even if it's a second per lap, that still gives Mark Scott plenty of time. Well, a small window that he has to battle and hold Spencer Hewins off, but the gains so far for the 197 certainly are not a second per lap. We're watching William Valdez currently in the 16th spot overall, chase down Philip Ranieri for the 15th position overall. This could be a big switch in the amateur category as, again, so to recap exactly how this works with amateurs and pros racing together. Now, they only pay out, I guess they pay to everybody points. They pay everybody's points, if I can get my thoughts correctly. They pay everybody's points as if it's all one race. They just classify each driver separately based on iRating. And so you are still racing drivers in the other category for points. Even if they're a pro and you're an amateur, you still got to pass them if you want to get more points than that driver. And the big difference is just that you're sorted out at the end of the race into pro and am. But if you're in between classes, you still got to race other cars. And I think that's what's really, really different about this class structure and class structures that you see, of course, split up between the cars themselves and not just the drivers.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely brings out a different, strategy to race, one another. And, it just brings out some interesting races because we do often see, at least on this league, it's so amazing to see some amateur drivers not only defending very, very well, but also attacking really well some pro drivers, and that just, creates better and closer racing between some of these guys, and obviously elevates the stakes till the end of the championship. And I mean, obviously these guys are only pro, but I mean the battle is still very much on Resende, kind of keeping pace with the leader, which is interesting because if he underfueled, he definitely needed to slow a bit down. Matthew Dench, although looks like he still has not found a way past Scott Kimbrough, but has lost a bit of touch between those two.
Yeah, he's losing a little bit of time. As you can see, it's now 3 cars in this main little train, working now around White's Corner, turn number 10. They should get, I believe, the 10 lap to go signal this time by, yes, 10 laps to go for these drivers, at least thereabouts. So these laps are clicking off in a hurry. And, I mean, of course, it's still a 15-minute race, but the fact that we've worked up to it is now lap 31 already, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Just flew on by. I mean, this is just a fantastic race. Obviously we had overtakes, we had battles side by side. We do have, unfortunately, quite a lot of mistakes for some of these guys, but it just showed. The track choice was perfect. And I mean, we still have 10 minutes to go, and we do have a battle for second all the way down into fifth. And we do have Bruno Alcaraz chasing Bejarano just 0.4 of a second. Battles are all throughout the field, just something that we're kind of used to seeing in the North American Racing League.
While this battle goes on, Sean Patterson has just entered the pit lane for service. It seems like that is a problem then for the 154 car, but Alcaraz is putting the pressure on Bejarano, and this would be for the 13th position on the racetrack. And these two are between different categories. Bejarano is a pro, and Alcaraz is an amateur driver, so this would be really important for Alcaraz to get that spot over Bejarano. Otherwise, he's losing an extra point or so, an extra position to his other amateur competitors ahead of him. This would be so important of a position for Bruno to go up there and grab, and it would be an important position, likewise, for Armando not to lose.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just the twist that we mentioned before. It's gonna promote, and it's just amazing to see, amateur driver just applying pressure and probably gonna pass this pro driver eventually. Just getting that extra few tenths of a second for the championship, for his championship battle, and the move might just come on the back straight because that Mercedes did not get a best of run, but look at the BMW, definitely getting a good run, and the Mercedes just gonna allow him to get on the inside. So this should be a move done by turn 8.
Down the Mario Andretti straightaway, and Armando has given that spot up. Bruno Alcaraz through to 13th overall. Now right behind Mike Braun, and you got to wonder if that 144 can go up there and get Mike Braun. That would be enough to put him into 4th in category. So that would be very important then for Bruno Alcaraz to go up there and do, and that would pay huge dividends in the points at the end of the day. Up front, nothing changing. Scott Reister still filing in right behind Jackson Resende, lap after lap after lap. And if you look at the results lately, Scott Reister has put the car on podium 3 times in a row, but all for bronze. He has not gotten a silver just yet, despite how fast he's been, especially at Interlagos and last week at Nürburgring. He led a lot of laps last week, but he has not been able to put it on either the middle or the top step just yet.
And we're kind of itching to talk to him and, just waiting for him to get either that 1st or 2nd place. And unfortunately, it looks like 1st might be a bit out of reach, saying that the gap has shrunk down to 3.6, 3.8 at this moment.
What was the first indication?
And, well, unfortunately for him, as you mentioned, Interlagos was just a heartbreak for him. But, he just seems to have the pace, just cannot put the whole package together, due to, unforeseen circumstances. But, just kind of unlucky. And, sometimes strategy masterminds just come into play. Unfortunately for him, now he's stuck behind a relatively slower car. But, this could be an interesting
challenge. Here we go.
Look at this. On the inside, can he get the move done? No. Resende just kind of pinched him to the curb, and unfortunately at that point you just have no angle to come into the corner, and that just backs everybody up. So it's just an interesting 7 minutes to go between all 4 of these guys.
And that was definitely a little bit reactionary from Resende, but you do get that one move before it becomes illegal to continue blocking. So he reacted, made his move, and defended the position, I think, in a pretty solid way, considering he's still in 2nd place and starting to gap Reister just a little bit. But look at that lap traffic up ahead. Scott sees it, and Scott knows that might be his best time to try and use them as a pick to get on by the 225 of Resende. This would be so important again. He's trying to get off of the bottom step of the podium and get up to the middle step, get up and get silver for a race week, and this would be a great one to do it as we start to work closer and closer. And let's not forget, these two are battling atop the point standings. Resende comes in with a 7-point gap. Reister wants to, I guess, cut into that.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be great for the championship as well. And I mean, he just has to get used. I mean, pretty much each and every single viewer saw how strong Reister was on Moss Corner. Now, will he get enough of a run till turn 8? Resende looks like goes half defensive. He's going to give him the outside. Can the Mercedes hold it around the outside? He might just be, as looks like we do have two moves going on. Looks like Resende just closes in the door. Dench also cannot get the move done. He's going to be trying to get a switchback on turn number 10. We do have two different battles going on within the same shot. That's just amazing seeing these guys going side by side. But looks like everybody holds position, at least for the time being.
Yeah, Kimbrough hangs on for now, and Resende holds on for now. Let's look at that lap traffic up ahead. They're about there this time. And, I mean, they are just slowly closing in. It's like a snail's race at this point. Just slowly closing in to, I believe that's William Valdez. Yes? Yes, that is William Valdez. Right behind, is that Philip Ranieri? Yeah, so these guys are a battle for position. This is for 15th on the racetrack. Ranieri wants to hang on to it. And, of course, William Valdez wants it. Here we go. Up the inside into Moss Corner. Contact in front of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Oh, my goodness, how they're bunching up.
Oh, this is going to become interesting. Resende did not get the best of run. He's going to have to go defensive, but also make his way through these guys. Look at it. It's going to be a sandwich between some of these guys, the lap cars. He's going to have to block Reister. He does. Look at the run that Kimbrough got. Looks like everybody's going to hold position. Although Reister is going to be trying to go around the outside again. He has more of a car. He's not going to be able to stick it in. Can Kimbrough kind of get on the inside lane? No, he cannot. That was wild from these guys, and probably one of the best opportunities that Kimbrough had. And also, Dench, you know, some of these guys just getting close, but everybody, again, after one lap, they just hold position.
What amazing, amazing racing right there. I can't believe what's just gone on as they stay in that same single file order. Resende, Reister, Kimbrough, Dench holding up the rear of these four cars. It's down to 4 minutes, and I don't know when this move can get any better for Scott Reister. That was his best opportunity, and he just couldn't quite capitalize.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just, I mean, Resende he does not get the best of run out of Moss Corner. Look how much this Mercedes is going to catch up. He goes so much deeper under braking. Look at this on 5B. He's just there, essentially. He just closes it up so much, but somehow Resende it's able to get enough of a drive out of the corner to just defend. Now the question is, he's pushing a lot, the BMW. Will he make it to the end on fuel? Because he definitely under fuel. There's no question about it. Now, is he saving any fuel? And if he is he saving enough? He's gonna go defensive on turn 8. No, he's confident enough. There's not enough room, and he just once again holds position lap after lap. Now the fuel question comes into mind.
What's amazing about all of this is these guys are battling, going side by side, splitting lap cars, and they're catching Fabio Zamperlini. I'm sure this is Fabio Zamperlini just riding around, understanding he's got a 4-second lead, or at least had a 4-second lead. Now it's down to 3.3, and if he gets held up at all, you have to wonder if those guys behind him can catch him. I don't think so, but you have to at least consider the possibility, entertain that thought a little bit as they work up to Sean Patterson, that slow and lapped Canadian Audi just ahead of these guys. So another lap car, nobody going to use him as a pick maybe. He's still in front of them now to turn 4. This could be interesting into the hairpin.
Oh, looks like just as Resende got a bit of a gap to Reister, he unfortunately is going to get slowed down a bit. Not too much. That Audi does a kind of a good job getting out of the way. Not the best of corners, but definitely did not harm. But looks like Reister has once again turn off the attacking mode to go into defensive mode. Now Kimbrough is gonna have, is he gonna have enough of a run? And they're running the exact same car, exact same setup, probably the exact same fuel load. Kimbrough is gonna be pointing around the outside. Resende somehow goes into the grass for some reason, but looks like everybody is once again gonna hold position, at least for the time being, as looks like we're gonna approach 2 to go. And will this move ever happen for second place?
While all of this has been happening, there's been a lead change. Also, I know exactly why Fabio Zamperlini is back down. He is back down to change this race from 40 laps to 39 laps and cut a lap out of this race for teammate Jackson Resende. That's got to be the reason. I mean, I just looked over and noticed we're now going from an expected 40 to an expected 39. That fits. That fits so well for Fabio Zamperlini and Jackson Resende. I can't believe I didn't think of that one sooner. But there has been a lead change for the amateur category. Mark Scott is now behind Spencer Hewins, who moves up into 8th overall. Not sure how the pass happened. Hopefully we get to talk to both of these guys. But Mark Scott has only got a second to change back to Rob Rodriguez. So we were talking about Mark Scott being safe by 10 seconds. That has completely changed. He's made a mistake somewhere and has lost the lead.
Yeah, exactly. That gap actually increased. I was looking at one point, I'm pretty sure it was 15 seconds, and that has all gone away. I'm gonna guess it's just due to a small mistake, but obviously your guess is probably as good as mine. But it's definitely interesting. It's heartbreaking for Scott. You know, he was pretty much leading, I'd say 90% of the race so far. And look at this! Resende getting done around the outside of turn 8. That's gonna be switching up. Can
He's not done.
Oh, no. Oh, I mean... Oh, he does. Reister looks like got the move. Oh, he's going to get another one. Looks like he did a small mistake on turn 10. And he's going to lose yet another position, dropping from 2nd all the way down into 3rd, 4th at this point.
And that was the white flag being waved at the start-finish line. This is the final lap here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and there was a move there. Oh my goodness, a bump and run into Clayton Corner. I've never seen it before, but now I have. Dench moved Kimbrough, who got into, I believe, Jackson Resende a little bit, and now they continue to snake around. That's Quebec Corner down to turn 4 for the final time. All the while, Fabio Zamperlini leading the way. We're going to watch this battle all the way through Moss Corner, and then, of course, down to turn 8. This is going to get fun. Kimbrough looks to the inside after a bit of a bobble. Now sticks right behind him. That backs up Dench, and they're closing right back up to Reister a little bit. The draft is going to be huge. Up the road just a little ways. Fabio Zamperlini still leading. Officially now we have the Tucson Sound Dart white flag, and Fabio Zamperlini has 3 corners to go.
He only has 3 corners to go. Has one cut off ahead of him. I'm guessing he's not going to make a mistake. The gap is down to 2.8. He's definitely controlling the pace right now. Resende is not going to be able to finish 2nd, looks like it, after a brilliant move from Reister. And it looks like the silver medal is definitely going to come, but also the gold medal for Fabio Zamperlini, another Canon Esport driver to visit the victory lane. He's going to be winning at Motorsport.
Fabio Zamperlini finally grabs a race win. Scott Reister finally grabs a silver medal, and Jackson Resende is still able to put it on podium. What a night in the pro category. Meanwhile, Spencer Hewins is just now leaving Moss Corner. Mark Scott is still 2nd, but it's going to be a battle with Rob Rodriguez.
Looks like the racing is not done now. Can Rob Rodriguez make a move on turn 8? He's getting closer. Now, this will have to be some sort of a potential dive bomb. Is he going to be selling the outside or the inside? Looks like he's not going to be close enough. Will Scott make it through cleanly? Not a small mistake. Looks like he has all under control. And unfortunately, after leading quite a bit of the amateur class, he's going to be finishing up a bit short on 2nd place as Scott Hewins wins on the amateur class.
Spencer Hewins taking victory over Mark Scott and Rob Rodriguez. Mike Braun a little further back will come through turns 9 and 10 in front of Bruno Alcaraz. There's another battle in the amateur category, but it's going to go the way of Mike Braun. Bruno couldn't quite get there and get the move made. What an afternoon of racing. Just 2 more cars to come across the line. It's Harry Wills and Armando Bejarano to round out the 14 cars that finish on the lead lap. All the while, Fabio Zamperlini finally taking top honors.
Amazing job. I mean, what a race from him. He led pretty much each and every single lap other than one. Unfortunately for him, not going to be a Grand Slam. But a perfect performance. Definitely what he needed after Brazil and after Nürburgring last week not being quite his race. This was definitely his one.
Certainly things going the way of Fabio Zamperlini in fantastic fashion. Dominates the race every single lap led aside from one during the pit cycle when his teammate Resende got credit for leading that lap. And I think the biggest brain play of the season so far, certainly, where Fabio Zamperlini, at least it seems like, backed down to guarantee that there were only 39 laps instead of 40. I do strongly believe that he backed down to let that race go 1 lap shorter. If not, it works out anyways, but it at least seems like he backed down just a little.
Unfortunately, it wasn't. So if it was a team play, we're definitely going to be asking him that. If it was a team play, it was a massive big brain team play, but unfortunately it did not work out for the team, but it worked perfectly for him. So I guess that's all that matters.
Well, these drivers are already going back to their virtual paddock, if you will, and decompressing from that one. We'll do the same. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage from round number 5 of 8 on the North American Racing League calendar in 2021 is on the way. I cannot wait to talk to these drivers and hear, especially from Scott Reister, finally putting it on the middle step of the podium. Not quite the win he's been wanting the last couple of weeks, but second place is going to feel good. Stick around with us. Post-race interviews are on the way.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
SoundArt is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it SoundArt. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? SoundArt gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, located in the virtual Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. So glad you're rejoining us here for post-race coverage from round 5 of 8 in the North American Racing League. GT3 cars all season long on 8 of the world's best road courses, at least the ones that we've got here on iRacing.com, and they're fantastic ones. Fabio Zamperlini going to victory lane this evening, taking top honors, and he's trackside with JP Costa.
Então, Fábio, normalmente a gente faz essa entrevista em inglês, mas como eu sou brasileiro e você é brasileiro e você ganhou, eu vou preferir fazer essa entrevista em português. Cara, tão bom te ver ganhando a corrida. Conta como é que foi um pouco.
Bom, obrigado, boa noite a todos. Primeiro de tudo, dar os parabéns a todos que correram. Tá sendo muito legal correr aqui, tá desafiador, o pessoal muito rápido, né? Tanto o Scott Rister quanto o Matthew. É uma pena o Matthew ter errado lá, ele tava muito rápido, ia ser uma disputa incrível. E quando ele errou, graças a Deus eu tava já com um gap já um pouco mais confortável pro Scott. E aí eu consegui administrar um pouquinho a corrida. Andar, mas é muito difícil de andar nessa pista. Eu sinceramente é inacreditável o que eu consegui fazer hoje, né? Fazer a pole, ganhar a corrida, não cometer nenhum incidente, quer dizer, eu consegui fazer os 54 pontos possíveis do campeonato, né? Agradecer demais a toda a minha equipe, ao Jackson. Jackson teve uma disputa incrível com o Scott no finalzinho ali. O Scott conseguiu dar um passão por fora lá, ele tava me mostrando. Ficou meio chateado. Piloto nenhum quer tomar um passão desse, mas, cara, tá andando muito, todo mundo. A gente da Canaã continua, né, liderando o campeonato. O Jackson provavelmente continua líder, né, com esse terceiro lugar. E não deixar de agradecer, né, os nossos patrocinadores, né, a B8 Seguros, que tem sempre nos apoiado, a Racing Velt e todos os nossos apoiadores.
Ótimo, amigo. Tu falou tudo, né? Absolutamente tudo. Agora a gente teve só uma pergunta aqui enquanto a gente estava comentando a corrida. A gente percebeu que o teu gap pro segundo lugar foi diminuindo nas últimas voltas ali e a gente especulou que talvez seria uma estratégia da equipe para tentar diminuir para 39 voltas a corrida. Talvez, obviamente, para você, né, uma volta menos às vezes ajuda, né? Nunca se sabe quando vai acontecer um erro, mas também para ajudar o Jackson, né? Ele estava batalhando com o carro danificado, a BMW dele estava danificada. Era uma estratégia meio de equipe para tentar garantir o segundo lugar?
Não foi. Na realidade, eu tirei o pé, aliviei mesmo para não cometer erro, né? Quando eu vi que tava com 0x ali, faltando 4 voltas, eu tirei o pé realmente para aliviar. Você falando assim, da próxima vez eu vou reparar até, porque dessa vez a gente não reparou nisso. Se tivesse feito, o Jackson tinha chegado em segundo. Então, mas infelizmente a gente não pensou nisso não.
Então aí, ó, mais uma estratégia para vocês treinarem para a próxima corrida. E quão confiante você tá para a próxima corrida em Suzuka?
Bom, Suzuka é uma pista que é muito desafiadora para mim. Eu normalmente tenho dificuldade de andar nela, não é uma pista tão fácil. Eu não sei, para essa pista o melhor carro era o Porsche, João. Eu andei no Porsche, dava para virar mais rápido com o Porsche, mas a confiança com a Lambo tá muito grande. E a possibilidade de erro nessa pista, eu acho que vocês viram, né? A gente foi acompanhando a corrida, viu tanto piloto abandonando durante a prova, né? Ela é muito desafiadora, então eu não quis arriscar, mudar de carro. E aí para a próxima vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Mas eu acredito que é uma pista boa para Lambo também.
É isso aí, Fábio. Eu te desejo toda a sorte do mundo para a semana que vem. Espero falar contigo de novo. E por último, quer agradecer os patrocinadores?
Claro, vamos lá. Deixa eu pegar só aqui a colinha, né?
Sem problema.
É sempre, né? Então, a B8 Seguros, né? A construtora Zirma, e que são os nossos patrocinadores e os parceiros, a Racing Velt, a Logitech, a Mengui, a Micro Center e a Mais Motorsport. Um abraço e até a próxima, galera.
Show, um abraço pra você também, Fábio. Parabéns pela vitória e até semana que vem.
Valeu.
So, Andrew, let's wrap it up. It was quite a big interview. But I mean, he was happy for his win. He was happy because he knows how tight this field is. He knows how quick some of these guys are, and I mean, he was just over the moon to win this race against some of these guys. He said that Matthew Dench was extremely quick early on in the race, but unfortunately, that mistake kind of robbed us of a great battle till the end. He thought it was going to be a fantastic battle, and yeah, he just after that mistake, he just kind of controlled the pace, not pushing too hard, and he said it was happy because he didn't get a single incident point. He got pole and he won the race, so he got all 54 available points. So he came out of here with pretty much everything that he wanted. And about our speculation, unfortunately, it wasn't. He mentioned that he was not trying to slow down to get one last lap. He was just kind of slowing down to avoid making a mistake, to not get himself an instant point. But one thing that I found interesting, he said that the Porsche kind of felt the fastest car around Motorsport, but he did not quite have the confidence to race it on the Porsche. He just feels so confident on Lamborghini. And also coming to Suzuka, he said that it was probably not one of his best tracks, but he'll definitely try to turn it up to essentially just repeat what we saw here today.
Well, fair enough. That was certainly a long-winded one there from Fabio. I wish I knew exactly what he was saying, but I trust your translation there, and it sounds like we might see more Fabio Zamperlini towards the top of the scoring charts here for the rest of the season. Only time will tell as he comes home just ahead of this guy, Scott Reister, taking second place in pro competition this evening. And Scott, we touched on very heavily the fact that you've been chasing this second place finish all season long, certainly the last 3 weeks where you finished third each time out, and especially last week at Nürburgring and the week prior at Interlagos. You've been so close, and this time you finally get it done.
Yes, it was a surprise for me. I wasn't very fast on this track. My teammates were actually faster than me. I just happened to put a decent qualifying lap in, and I ran a clean race. So it worked out. I wasn't expecting it.
It always amazes me to hear you guys kind of so disappointed to finish second place. I mean, Fabio was only a little ways up the road, and it sounds like you still wanted to get more, certainly, and I can understand that. Obviously, race car drivers, that's what they want to do, but it always amazes me. But there's a lot to be happy with here, Scott. Of course, the last 3 weeks, as I touched on, third place. You are coming for Jackson in the points. And while he may have won last week at the 2 weeks ago at Interlagos, he's got 2 wins in the season to your none so far, but you are closing in. You're showing that you should have pace to win a race. What do you think is the missing piece for you to get on the top step of the podium?
Well, these guys are really fast. I mean, we're very happy to have Kanan Esports join us. They've supported us from the start. These 2 drivers are excellent drivers and excellent people off the track too. So it's an honor to race with these guys. Matthew is no slouch. He's super fast. So just to keep up with these guys and battle door to door, it's been an honor. Since Interlagos, I picked up a driving coach, Daniel Morad, and he's been helping some of the guys on this league, and it's really helped me tremendously. I've picked up my pace quite a bit since the start of this series. So.
And Daniel's definitely a pretty good guy. We've had him on a broadcast a time or two before here on PitStopTV. You're going to have to get him in the series at some point here. But let's talk about the series as a whole for a moment here, Scott. Of course, you're kind of the guy that everybody looks to. If you want, you could say that you're the head honcho here. You make things happen. And we've got something happening here pretty soon that was just announced, I think, today or yesterday. It is brand new to the pressers. Tell us about it coming up in September.
Yes, after this series, we're going to have a special event called Cash Days at Long Beach. You guys are going to be broadcasting, which is awesome. And it's a 4-hour endurance race, and we're letting all comers join. Kanan Esports announced that they're going to have 4 teams, and Tony Kanan actually might drive in the race. Daniel Morad's coming with 2 teams, and a few other big teams are coming. So it'll be some fast guys racing around Long Beach with you guys broadcasting. It should be awesome.
I am over the moon. I'm so happy to have this event coming up later in September. It's going to be a good one. Can't wait to hopefully bring JP back for that. Of course, keep things rolling, and along with so many of our other commentators here, and get them a chance to cover NARL action. I'm really looking forward to it. Really excited for this opportunity. Cannot wait to get to it, but 4 more races are still to go in this series. Let's go back to being a driver for a moment. You come in just a couple of points back of Jackson Sunday, of course, and this is going to tighten that gap a little bit. What do you feel you've got to do in these next 3 races, I suppose? It's not 4 races, it's 3 races. In these next 3 races to try and close that gap and pass them in the points.
I'm pretty strong on 2 of the tracks coming up. I'm pretty good at Suzuka, and I'm really strong at Donington. So I'm looking forward to the last 3 races. I haven't raced much on Red Bull Ring, but it seems like my style track. So see what happens.
Only time will tell. Before we get you out of here, Scott, who do you have to thank? Who do you want to shout out this evening?
Well, I want to thank Kanan Esports for supporting us. I want to thank Race Labs for joining us and putting on some excellent prizes for the guys. Tam Liveries, he's been doing an awesome job. JS Consulting has been organizing our website and software and registration and all that. And you guys doing an excellent job. We couldn't do it without you. So we're happy with the series. This league is just new, taking off, and it looks like it's going to be a good one. So
it's not looking like it's going to be a good one. It's already looked like and has been a good one. 5 races in, each one more exciting than the last. A lot is to look forward to the rest of the season. 3 more races to go. Can't wait to see how you do, buddy.
Yes, thank you guys.
That's Scott Reister finishing up second place this evening in a last-minute pass from the guy you see right in front, Jackson Resende. But down in the amateur category here at JP, it was oh so close for so many laps. Well, actually, no, it wasn't even. It was oh so close for the last few laps because Mark Scott was out to lunch for so long, but then mistakes towards the end, as you see, oh my goodness, they got really close to contact, if not hitting each other there for second place in the pro category. Down in the amateur category, it was all Spencer Hewins those last few laps passing Mark Scott.
So, Spencer, I mean, I guess I can tell that your race was a bit of a roller coaster race, wasn't it? Talk us through your race.
Eventful. Unexpected as well. I'm not very, competent around there. I'm just extremely uncomfortable as well. Got a bit unlucky when I did spin and was facing, the complete wrong direction, but like you said, it was a roller coaster, and it just entirely was at that.
And, I mean, obviously you qualified on 10th place and you had the little spin. I mean, this was pretty much one of those races that you kind of put on a poster and you say never give up, right? Because you just came out of the spin and then eventually you end up winning. How do you keep yourself, I guess not motivated, but just keep yourself pushing after a small mistake like that?
Honestly, especially around here where I'm not comfortable, the spin kind of helped. And then after that, I didn't really care what the result was, and I would take anything at that point. But winning was not really what I had in mind, but I'll take it.
Oh, definitely an interesting mindset. And you said you're not confident enough, on this track. You're not, comfortable with it. Is it the car and track combo, the Lambo being a bit, kind of I guess on the loose end, just being a little bit tricky to drive? And obviously this track going up and down, turning, all this sort of stuff. Does that help out, again, with not being comfortable?
Honestly, I think it's because I just don't really like it that much. That's the main reason.
Well, that also helps a bit. And yeah, but you did an amazing job. And near the end, how did the pass for the victory happen? We did not quite catch it on the broadcast. We only caught the name switching up. How exactly did it happen? And what was your reaction when you saw you were leading?
Unfortunately, it was actually similar to my incident, just in a bit better spot. It was at the uphill hairpin. He just kind of dipped the wheel wrong and just kind of had one of those half slides, and I just kind of slid around him because he just gave me enough space to go through, which was nice.
Well, definitely nice. You guys didn't make contact, and obviously that gave to you not only the lead momentarily, but also the victory later on. And well, winning on a track you're not comfortable has to feel good. And how do you feel coming up to the race next week? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel fast? Are you going to switch cars? What's essentially going to happen? What's the game plan?
I'm not sure on cars. I like the Lambo and the BMW this far. I do want to drive the Porsche eventually because it is probably my favorite GT3. But every track after this was kind of the ones I was just waiting for. The ones before this I wasn't that great at, if I'm being honest. So definitely the next few, or next 3, I'm a lot more competent at.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be wanting to speak to you then in the next 3 weeks. No pressure added whatsoever. But yeah, I hope you do fantastic at those racetracks. But before I let you go, who do you have to thank for your result?
No one at the moment, other than you guys. You guys are doing a great job with the broadcast as always. It's nice to see. Different change for me because I haven't had it in the race format before. So it's definitely cool having you guys around and all that.
Well, thank you very much. That obviously makes us feel happy doing our jobs. And well, congratulations, Zul, on your race win.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
I'll hope to talk to you next week. Andrew, that was Spencer Hewins, our amateur class winner. And well, I'm gonna pass it back to you to Mark Scott, our once race leader and unfortunately second place finisher.
Yeah, our once race leader and near race winner, Mark Scott. We've talked to your son a couple of times, Blake Scott, for the first time that we're bringing you in this evening. And the 166 was fast tonight. You held your own for a very, very long time, not making a mistake until the closing minutes. What happened?
Well, yeah, that was kind of a bummer. The start of the race was pretty interesting with Tyler getting pushed off in the first lap, and a couple laps later, Spencer sort of spun himself. So, and then Blake spun. So I just sort of walked into first place and tried to hold it off for the rest of the race. And lo and behold, 2 laps to go, I sort of looped it with the half spin, and Spencer got by me.
Sometimes it pays off to not necessarily always be the fastest, but just keep the car in one piece. And while you did have that one small spin, you still kept the car in one piece, hanging on for second place, which is a pretty darn big deal. I also noticed today you're in a Lamborghini, not that Mercedes. Tell us about the car switch.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Blake convinced me to get in the Lambo, and I hated it, and just practice, and I finally got a little handle on it, and it paid off. I didn't put a wheel off pretty much the entire race, and just consistency paid off. And man, I was nervous the whole time, but it was a lot of fun. Spencer was coming in fast.
Certainly reason to be nervous anytime you're towards the top of the running order, but this is really going to catapult you here in the standings. This is a big deal for your season. With 3 races to go, how do you think you shake out?
Well, that's a tough one. You know, I had my first 3 races. I missed the first one. I was out of town, and my next 3 races didn't go very well. So I don't know where I stand in the overall points, but I know Blake and I in the team standings, we are in the lead. So I'm hoping that this will catapult us a little further into the team lead.
This is certainly going to help you out quite a bit this evening. Buddy, congratulations on a second place. Nearly a race win. Hopefully you get it next time out at Suzuka. We'll be watching and waiting. But before we let you go, who do you have to thank? Who do you want to shout out this evening from Canadian Tire?
Well, Scott Racing for sure. My son Blake for getting me in this Lambo and teaching me how to drive this thing. It was a handful. I usually like the Porsche or the BMW, even the Mercedes every now and then. But yeah, Blake, thank you for getting me in this car, buddy. I appreciate it. And thanks to Scott for putting this league on. This is a great league. Everyone drives respectfully, and you guys for doing all the broadcasting. It's awesome.
We're happy to have you guys out here putting on the show week in, week out. Buddy, congratulations once again, and we'll hopefully talk to you next week.
Hey, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
So Mark Scott finishing up second place in the amateur category, 9th place to a top 10 in overall competition. It's a really good day to be Mark Scott, I would say. And let's take a look at our full race results. Of course, unofficial before the league finalizes them, but I don't expect too many changes, if any. Fabio Zamperlini takes the race win by just 2.5 seconds over Scott Racer. That margin closing up quite a bit at the end. Jackson Resende comes home third. Then it's Scott Kimbrough in the 4th spot. Matthew Denshin 5th. Micah Barnett in 6th. Daniel Tenorio 7th. Then it's your amateur winner, Spencer Hewins, in 8th, with Mark Scott and Rob Rodriguez finishing up the top 10.
In 11th place, we do have Mike Braun, Bruno Alcaraz in 2nd place, Armando Bejarran and Harry Wills. The last driver to be on the lead lap, William Valdez 15th, Philip Ranieri in 16th, Joshua Benjamin 17th place, to Leslie on the 183 on 18th place, Federico Tamayo 2 laps down in 19th, and Shaw Patterson 3 laps down in 20th place.
Finishing 21st this evening, it's Blake Scott, 10 laps down. You heard Mark talking about how he thanks Blake for getting him into the Lambo. It works out for Mark, not so well for Blake this evening. EJ Nixon finishes in 22nd. Billy Bowerman, a strong start, but finishes 23rd. Carl Graz along with him in 24th. Giuseppe Rivas finishes in the 25th spot, 32 laps down. And then John Sedlak and Tyler Graff bring up the rear for both of their categories. John Sedlak of JS Consulting, not a great night this evening. Speaking of JS Consulting, JP, what do you say we talk more about these partners with the North American Racing League? Of course, leading off with Race Lab per usual, that helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native virtual reality integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at http://racelab.app. Tam Liveries offers custom packages for some of the best livery designs in iRacing. Used by pros and amateurs, you will definitely look good on track. And JS Consulting, as I mentioned, John Sedlak provides custom website and app development including iRacing League website design and hosting. Find JS Consulting at johnsedlak.com. And that's not to mention even our partners here at PitStopTV. There's a lot to walk through. Of course, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV for 10% off of your order at checkout. I stand by this product. I will always stand by this product. Robert Pattengale and his team at Tucson Sound Art put together a fantastic wall-mounted sound art device. It's super easy to plug in, super easy to hook up, super easy to put on your wall. Everything about it is about convenience, especially considering the idea of the product itself is putting a Bluetooth speaker in wall art. So basically a picture frame, except it's a canvas that is wrapped around this Bluetooth speaker device. It's an amazing product. I listen to music with it all the time in my room. I will stand by this one till the day I die. Tucson Sound Art is a fantastic product, and at the very least, you've got to check them out today. TucsonSoundArt.com and Tucson Sound Art on Facebook and Instagram. Let's not forget Race Pay Setups, our official road setup provider here at PitStopTV. Go to their Discord, bottom right of the screen currently. Type that on in and join their Discord server for access to fantastic, truly fantastic and race-changing GT3 setups and more today. Of course, Permanent Makeup and Cryo makes a lot happen for us. They're up in the state of Maine. I was recently up and visiting their offices. Everything looks fantastic, and everything is fantastic. My brother and my sister-in-law just got facials up there on Monday morning. I mean, seriously, it's not just for women. It's not just this whole, makeup is kind of not my thing. I'm a guy or whatever. No, seriously, even if you are a guy or whatever in that macho mentality, there might be something, I guarantee there is something that Permanent Makeup in Maine can do for you to help you look your best. And at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Let's not forget Whiplash Media, the official broadcast, graphic, and camera provider, there we go, of PitStopTV, and BAM Racing videos by a race fan for the racing community. A lot to walk through here at the back end of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, JP. We saw a lot happen, a lot of battles, a lot of mistakes, a lot of crashes. How do you wrap this one up in, let's say, 10 words or less?
10 words or less, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I'll put you on the spot.
Wow. Amazing, exciting, tricky, difficult. I mean, I'm not pretty sure that's exactly what you wanted, but it was amazing, and it ranks on my top 5 so far for the season.
JP? I hate to say it, but we've only had 5 broadcasts. We've only had 5 races so far. I would hope it ranks somewhere in that top 5. But hey, you know what? I guess the importance behind that still stands. This was a fantastic race this evening. There was a lot to watch. A lot to try and keep up with, and keeping us on our toes here in the broadcast booth is always a good thing because it means there's a lot happening and a lot for us to present to you guys watching. Certainly, this has to be one of the top races from the season. I'm not sure how these next 3 can top it, but we are going. Let's recap this. The next few races for the league are going to be Suzuka International Racing Course next week, then the Red Bull Ring in 2 weeks' time, and Donington Park to wrap things up. That is going to be wild. We've had that race before with GT3 cars a couple of seasons ago in the Pacific Challenge, but I think it's going to be different with this source of drivers.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be amazing, and I expect more of the same. The cars are similar, but, the whole championship picture, I guess it's different, fixed setups, being able to switch cars, all this sort of stuff. And obviously, we do have some new additions that we didn't have previously, so it's going to switch things up, and, it's just going to be as amazing as it was today, as it was on the previous 4 weeks, and I just cannot wait for next week. It could be tomorrow, and I would be perfectly happy with it. It could even be right now, and I'll be perfectly happy because these guys just put on a show each and every single time they're on the racetrack.
I don't know about right now. I think bedtime sounds pretty good here in a little bit, but let's take a look at our broadcast coming up next week. We've got 3 broadcasts for you on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's our usual kind of gig right now, our schedule, our weekly schedule. Tuesday evening, we've got the Nork iRacing Series, race 2 of their 7-race chase at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's the brand new Texas as well. That means the flatter turns 1 and 2, along with an extra racing lane on the bottom side. And, of course, the still a little bit more narrow and highly banked turns 3 and 4. It's going to be wild with those NASCAR Xfinity Series cars on Wednesday evening. It's an off week on Wednesday, though, for the Cars Esports Tour, which means we've got lone coverage of the Outlaw Sim Series and it's a fantastic venue as well. Martinsville Speedway, the half-mile paperclip. I cannot wait to see how two back-to-back hairpins, to kind of bring it up to you road guys, two back-to-back hairpins sorts out for those trucks. I'll be sitting back, kicking my feet up, and enjoying that one, certainly in our off week for the Cars Esports Tour. Meanwhile, though, on Thursday evening, we're right back here with another broadcast, another presentation of the North American Racing League, and JP, we're going to Japan.
Well, it's going to be amazing. I mentioned on the beginning of the broadcast, unfortunately, F1 is not going to be at Suzuka, but these guys, I'm sure they're going to be putting on a better show than F1 could ever dream, because if anything, if today in the past 4 weeks were anything to go by, Suzuka is definitely going to be showing up an amazing GT3 race to watch.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Suzuka. That's just a racetrack that I like. I think I did one broadcast a couple of years ago with F1 cars there for the Major Series on LSR TV, and since then, I have been hooked on Suzuka International Racing Course. I don't know what it is about Suzuka, but it's just a fantastic track. It puts on great racing. It's a longer track as well. The crossover is so cool. There's just so much to be happy with there at Suzuka, and I'm looking forward to next week, very much so. You can catch all these broadcasts and, of course, their subsequent updates, or even, I guess, preceding updates in all of our social media at these 4 links, and as well as our broadcasts over on Twitch. Let's walk you through a few of them. Well, actually, all of them. Facebook, it's facebook.com/PitStopTV. There's a lot going on over there, as well as Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV. We also broadcast to Twitch, as I mentioned, at Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV. Let's not forget Twitter at Twitter.com/PitStopTV_. You can also just search at PitStopTV_. And over on YouTube, it's either at PitStopTV or youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. Plenty of places to keep up with PitStopTV.
Yeah, exactly. And you should join us on each and every single one of them. Instagram and Twitter, obviously, are a fantastic way to watch some of our photos and watch some of the highlights, and Instagram and Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, obviously, to catch some of these broadcasts, because they're definitely worth a second rewatch.
I think that will just about do it, JP. I'm trying to rack my brain if there's anything else we got to go through, but I think that does do it this evening from the virtual Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Happy to have had you all here this evening, tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all of PitStopTV, JP Costa with me on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on social media. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.